The following podcast is a part of RadioMisfits.com.
Go. Here we are. Welcome into the Radio Misfits. We missed Kelly last week, but we got her this week. You were enjoying Disney. I don't know. Right. Where'd you go?
We went to Disney World. I stayed at, it's Caribbean Beach. It's always a fight. Is it Caribbean? Is it Caribbean?
I was going to say, I almost called you out on it. Say it again. How do you say it?
Caribbean Beach. That's what the Skyliner and the Disney people call it.
No, they're hillbillies. Caribbean Beach. No, it's Caribbean. It's very, very European in its pronunciation. Caribbean. You gotta get the roll going, not Caribbean.
Well, it's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Nope, it's Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm telling you, everyone is pronouncing it wrong.
I like Caribbean better than Caribbean. Caribbean. I don't like it.
Caribbean sounds fancier. Caribbean.
Yes.
Fine Caribbean leather. You know,
it's a great moderate resort.
Moderate, a very fine, moderately priced. It made sense. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm paying. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Water fountain isn't cold. Whatever. I don't know. I'm sure it was a wonderful time. Disney is nothing but a farm for wonderful memories. You brought your kids and all that stuff?
Yes. My son and my daughter, 1A, 1B, from my first marriage. And my son's girlfriend came in from St. Croix, Thomas, John. I'm not sure. She's a marine biologist studying something down there. And she came in and joined us. And she was lovely. I like her. They've been going out a year. And then I went with 2A and 2B, Quinn and Locke.
That's funny. So he's got a marine biologist girlfriend?
Yeah, I don't understand. I know she knows a lot about turtles, and she cares a lot about turtles. And I don't know exactly because
your son kind of is built like a turtle. Like I kind of get that. Like he doesn't look like a turtle. Like Harry Reid and Mitch McConnell, they look like turtles. Your son does not look like a turtle, but your son is very broad-chested. And like if you were going to turn him into a cartoon, I might turn your son into a turtle.
Yep.
That's weird.
Side note. So my son, the coach, the other coach will never listen to this because whatever. Sent him knew my son was on vacation. School's out. He sends an emergency text to Declan saying that within one day, 24 hours, he needs Declan to put together a presentation on why rugby should be offered in Flower Bluff schools.
Does your son know anything about rugby?
No. And we were in line at Tron, and Declan's trying to put this stuff together. And I'm like, a rugby emergency?
Suddenly he's on a Wikipedia page and just searching rugby to try and learn as much as he can.
Rugby here? I don't know what he's talking about. Sure, great if it works out, but that really needs to be done on December 1st or December 31st. Nope, did not. Nope, but he did it.
So his boss is another football coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the football part, yeah.
Football coaches in general, it's their world. We're all just living in it. So if he wants him to dive deep in rugby while in line for Pirates of the Caribbean, notice I said Caribbean.
Yes.
That's the will of a football coach. All right. Speaking of football coaches, last week we phoned in the Pics and
did not do well.
No, that's not it. It's not that we did not do well. I think it was the perfect way. Last week was a different week. You weren't here, so we had to go. We stopped the bleeding. We went 8-8. We evened it out. So it's like last week didn't even happen. So that's good. So
I got a pass.
Yeah, we got a pass on last week. We ended up going 8-8. Still, as we head into the final week of the regular season, that's what this is, week 18. Final week of the regular season, you have a 5-game lead. It's 107-102 on the season, So, barring just a tragic day or a tragic week, you should still maintain your streak of having more correct picks than incorrect picks on the season. Now, Kelly, tell people how you pick these games.
It's not by which team is better based on stats and stuff, because I have no idea which is. It's based on if there are 11 of the team's mascot playing 11 of the other team's mascot, and based on their locations, are they home? Are they away? Can Dolphins play in Kansas City? Probably not, because they'd probably die.
Right. No oceans in Kansas City. That's a tough road game for the Dolphins.
Yeah, it is. It's really difficult for them to play out of water. Conversely, it's difficult for other teams to play them in water.
That's right. That's right. They almost you travel to play the Dolphins in the middle of the ocean. They almost always have the edge. So that's how she picks the game: mascot versus mascot. As I said, she's been doing it for years and years. She's always had a winning season. We are 107 and 102 on this year. So let's head in to the final week. All right, Kelly, here we go. Saturday games. No Thursday night game this week. We start off with a Saturday game. This is going to be Saturday at 3:15. You got the Pittsburgh football Steelers taking on the Baltimore Ravens.
Right. All right. Steelers, guys who work at a steel mill, they have to be strong, they have to smoke cigarettes, and they need breaks.
But are they mentally strong? Continue.
Yeah, that's the question. I don't know. I would imagine that I would become bored in this job.
Susceptible to outside influences.
Yeah. And so, but then a Raven is mentally strong.
A Raven, this is the Edgar Allan Poe Raven, nevermore, nevermore. Its entire job is to get inside your head, gaslight you, and make you do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. Right. That's the Raven. That's the Baltimore Raven. What effect would that have on a blue-collar working man?
Especially at the end of the year, or they're just coming off break. It's slow to get started after you've had some time off. I think that the Ravens can do this.
All right.
And if they don't, actually, I find myself getting really angry at the teams who I pick to win and they just don't perform and they just don't win. And then I find myself angry at them.
Kelly is going with the Ravens over the Steelers, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, big rivalry. I will have you know, Kelly, and I know you don't know this. We talked about Kelly's got a son who's a football coach, but he's not a pro football coach. She doesn't watch pro football. She doesn't know anything about that.
No.
The Ravens, I think, are going to win the Super Bowl. I think the Ravens are the best team in all of football this year. So I'm glad you picked them there.
Well, I like their colors. So
yep, there you go.
The uniforms are cool.
The second game on Saturday, the night game, a 7:15 Saturday game, is the Texans at the Colts. And I've got to be honest with you, I think these two, I know they play twice a season, but it seems like these two teams are always playing each other.
It does. It feels like that. And Texans can be the shoot 'em up Texans wearing the hat, corralling people or whatever it is. Or it's just people who live in Texas like me. I could be a Texan. Versus the baby horse. Although my son says it's not necessarily a baby horse, it's a teenager horse.
Okay. Still not a fully grown. It's still not a Bronco. Bronco is the scary horse, not the Colt. And, I don't want to put any words in your mouth here, but it seems to me of the many skills that a Texan might possess, breaking a baby horse might be one of them. I think, and it's in a corral.
Either shooting them, trading them, or, just breaking them, whatever, by telling them not to do whatever it is that baby horses do. So I'm going to have to go with the Texans. I don't feel strongly about this. I don't know.
Feel strongly. I would put money on the Texans in this one. I would feel strongly. All right, the next game. Let's move on to Sunday's game. We are now a noontime Sunday game. Here is a stupid game. Buccaneers at the Panthers. Buccaneers, the Flousy Pirates with ruffled shirts and crazy facial hair, taking on the Panthers.
Now, I happen to have learned or actually been told many things about Panthers. Well, at Animal Kingdom last week, I retained none of that knowledge, except that they're tougher than I thought that they were.
They're way more badass than we thought.
Yeah. And then Declan was giving me some kind of thing about Tampa, and those pirates were Spaniards, and they came from Spain, and they're Catholic, but they also don't care. They're rough. They killed people, whatever. I still don't think that they can overcome a panther.
You don't think so with their knives and their muskets? I think they could kill a panther.
I think they're too drunk to kill a panther.
I think
there's
that
a lot of alcohol involved.
I think the Panthers are the worst team in football. Maybe you ought to reconsider this pick. I think that maybe a Buccaneer on a boat might have a panther in a cage that he's going to take and sell to some rich guy who wants a panther in his backyard. I don't know.
Plus, I don't know how much of an aim. If you have the knife, a panther's a big target. You're going to hit something if you just start swinging with a knife.
Cut it. I don't know. Look, this is on you. You're right. This can go either way. Who do you like, Buccaneers or Panthers?
All right, I guess I'm going to take the knife, especially if the panther's in a cage. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. They're not in a cage. They're in the jungle. Because the Buccaneers are the ones who went into the jungle to catch the panther to sell it to a rich guy in Europe. That's what's happening.
Yeah, all right. I go back to the Panthers then.
Jeez.
I know, I'm sorry, but...
Hey, you know what? This is how your upset specials come. The games that nobody thinks. Look, the Buccaneers aren't great. They're better than the Panthers, I think, though. But who knows? This could be anything. Last game of the season, nobody cares. Are the Buccaneers playing for anything?
I was just going to ask, are any of them are either of them going to go to the playoffs?
Definitely not the Panthers. They're the worst team in football. Buccaneers, I don't in the South. What's going on in the South? Atlanta lost. New Orleans. I think New Orleans is the team coming. I don't know either. All right, let's move on. She is going with the Panthers over the Buccaneers. That's kind of an upset. All right, here we go. How about the Cleveland Browns taking on the Cincinnati Bengals? This is the battle for Ohio. This is the battle of the Browns. Quick little backstory. Of course, the Cleveland Browns, they were owned and run by Paul Brown, who the name the Browns is comes from. Paul Brown got run out of Cleveland after like 25. Like, imagine if in Chicago they ran George Halas out, right? Okay. So that's basically what happened. So they ran Paul Brown out of Cleveland. And so what did he do? He just drove to Cincinnati and founded the Bengals.
Sure, why not?
I believe that the owner of the Bengals is still Paul Brown Jr. I think it's still like, so this is the Paul Brown Bowl. Two teams that he was very important to. So Browns or Bengals.
Okay, I'm going to have to go. I got an earful about Brownie the elf, and it's a brownie. Brownie is the actual mascot, but that has to be like derivative of the elf. I don't know. It's not an actual elf. I didn't understand the explanation, but I was only half listening to, so that's on me. But I still, a Bengal tiger, man, they seem rough.
They do.
Yeah.
They seem rough, but they don't have a quarterback. So, I know a Bengal tiger seems rough, and the Browns are playing kind of well. I don't know. Again, I don't want to influence you. It's just the last week.
I'm going to have to go with the Bengal tiger.
Yep, got it. There you go.
Isn't there a football team that's on like their fourth quarterback this season? Something about Joe Flacco?
Well, that would be the Browns.
Oh.
That would be the Browns have Joe Flacco, and he's balling out. And the Bengals, Joe Burrow is broken
this week.
Joe Flacco's not playing?
No, they're playing somebody else. They're resting him.
Oh, well, then you went with the Bengals?
Yeah.
Then, I think that might be a good game. If they're resting Flacco. Hey, who's Flacco play for? Browns? Huh? Who's Flacco play? I'm asking my son. Browns. Yeah, Browns. Okay, yeah. So if they're resting Flacco, that means they must be in the playoffs, and that's... There you go. So Bengals. You're going with the Bengals. All right. Bengals over the Browns. How about Vikings at Lions? Oh, man. Now, the Vikings never made it all the way to Africa where the Lions are. But I'm telling you, if they did, Vikings would have killed Lions. Vikings, that's just what I think. And by the way, didn't we learn by asking Google that Lions aren't as tough as we think?
Yes, we did learn that. That's crazy.
Because I think when we asked Google who would win, a panther or a lion, they said a panther. And then when we asked Google who would win, a bear or a lion, they said a bear. And I was shocked by both of them.
I know. I think it really needs to reevaluate the title of King of the Jungle. Might need to step down on that. It doesn't seem to be measuring up. But
one Viking versus one lion, though. I know we like to say 11 Vikings, 11. It's because it's just mayhem. But one Viking versus one lion, I think a lion would kill. I don't know.
I feel like a lion would kill it. But I did watch a rhinoceros back up a lion. Like a lion was chasing it. The rhinoceros turned around and the lion backed up. Like, ooh, sorry. Yeah.
That's a rhinoceros, though. That's like the size of a minivan.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely bigger. That's
the Vikings. The Viking's just a dude, a big dude, and a brutally violent dude, but still just a dude.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go with the Lions.
All right.
I mean, or we're gonna have to rethink the king part. No.
I think this is a good pick. I think based on my limited football knowledge and what the Lions have to do, and they're playing at home, they have to win. I think that's a good pick. Vikings. All right. Vikings have been on like 5 quarterbacks. They had Kirk Cousins, he got hurt. Then they went with Josh Dobbs, he got hurt. Then they went with some
quarterback,
some dude you dated in the 50s or in the 90s. I don't know, just like spares. They're just giving anybody a chance to be quarterback there.
Yeah, sure, why not?
The next game, let's talk about. Here's a big one. That's not big at all. It's the Jets at the Pats. This was a big one in, I don't know, maybe like 2017. This would have been a big game. Not now. Both these teams blow. Who do you like? The Jets at the Patriots.
Yeah, it's a tough one when you're talking about two teams that really don't have a leg to stand on, it seems like.
And Boston's going to get hit with a blizzard. So this could be a blizzard game. This could be a blizzard.
They still have to play. Yeah, they do. We've seen that happen in Chicago before.
We like it when they play in a blizzard. The Bears played in a blizzard last week.
They're not throwing the ball. They're just going to be running.
No, that's the thing. The Bears did. That's what was crazy. The Bears threw the whole game last week, and they were playing in a blizzard. Yeah.
Wow. So we've got the Jet, and I'm afraid to fly. So that I give them probably more credit than is due. Versus a Patriot. I as much as I hate to do it, I'm gonna have to go with the Patriots. I think they can take on a Jet, though I think they might be confused by it at first because, well, wait a minute. Patriots didn't have to be Revolutionary War.
No, they don't. They can be January 6th Patriots.
Yeah.
They can be modern Patriots.
Yep.
Using that term very loosely.
Very loosely.
But it still applies.
So I am going to take the Patriots. I think that they can beat the Jets.
There you go. All right. Let's talk about the next one. The next game is going to be Falcons. Yeah, Falcons at the Saints. This is another Sunday game. I think this game might mean something. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think it means something to the Saints. I only would know that because I watched a weather report about bad weather going through that area, but it'll be gone by Sunday.
And they play in a dome. Saints are in a dome. So.
Well, then, yeah. Okay, well, then I'm going to go with the Saints. The Falcons, is it going to be like, oh, my God, I've watched like 3 birds. We talked about this. Commit suicide into my sliding glass door, patio doors. They just boom right into it. Where did you think you were going? So I'm going to have to go with the New Orleans Saints, especially in their dome. And weather doesn't matter. It's already passed. They're good. I think that they can do it. I think they can.
There we go. New Orleans Saints. Hold on. I'm trying to see. Hold on. I'm pulling this up. AFC. I don't want AFC. Show me. I want to see exactly what's at stake in that game.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So the Saints are 8-8. The Buccaneers are 8-8. The Falcons are 7-9. A lot is at stake in this game. So who are you taking? If the Falcons win, well, I don't know what happens actually. It just looks like this game could mean something. So who are you taking? Falcons.
I think the Saints.
Saints.
It's coming off Christmas. It's a new year. I think the Saints want to start things off on a good foot.
I think that's a good pick. All right, the Jaguars taking on the Titans. Who do you like here? The Jaguars in Nashville taking on the Titans.
I'll say that the Tennessee Titans have made me feel less about Titans in general. I don't think that they're living up to their name. Now, I don't know. They could have won every single game this year. I have no idea. But I feel like that's not true. It doesn't feel true. So I think I'm going to have to take a Jaguar because, I mean, they seem like they'd be strong. Jaguar seems Panther-like. And
They seem so you're looking at a jaguar, which is a sleek, fast cat, not even like a brutal, dominant, strong cat, just a sleek, fast cat. You're looking at that and you're like, they seem like they could be strong, totally ignoring the children of Zeus. You don't think the children of Zeus seem like they could also be strong?
No, because I was thinking Titan of industry. And I don't think that they can fight.
All right.
They have to hire people to fight for them.
That's okay. Hey, that's fine. That's your rationale. So we're going with Jags?
Yeah.
All right. The Jaguars over the Titans. That's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick at all. Okay. Here we go. Bird versus bird. You got the Seahawks, which we all know are just seagulls, taking on the Cardinals, which we all know are just pretty red birds.
Yes.
This is like two animals that do not strike intimidation or fear into anyone at any point.
No. And Seahawks, the seagull-like creatures, I don't see them fight unless it's over food. I've seen a seagull fight before. It wasn't pretty. It was gross and it was overbred, so it seemed kind of like a waste. But
yeah, other Seahawks, seagulls. Let's stop calling them Seahawks. That's not a type of bird. It's a seagull. So I have seen seagulls get into like brutal scraps over like spilled nachos in a parking lot, right? Yeah. We've seen that. And they are pretty brutal. I don't know that I've ever seen a cardinal do. Every time the cardinal appears in your yard, you see it because you're like, oh my God, look at the cardinal because it stands out. They're just pretty, right? That's their whole thing. They're just pretty. Whereas seagulls are like hobo, trampy. They're not pretty. No. Seagulls are very street and cardinals seem to be very posh.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to reluctantly take the Seahawks in this because if it looks at the cardinal as food, and maybe it would, I don't know.
Is that cannibalism? Is that cannibal? Do birds? Oh my God. See, these are the kind of natural questions that we stumble on here. Okay, so we all know that cannibalism is like a human eating another human, and we know that we don't do that. We don't eat humans. Do birds eat other birds?
I see a Seahawk eating anything that it can. It just doesn't seem that picky. It's not picky.
When a wolf kills another wolf, does that wolf eat the wolf it just killed, or does it know? Is it like, nah, that's one of me. That's gross.
I don't know.
Animal cannibalism. I never really thought about this before.
Animal cannibal. You could make a series called that.
Oh, let me write that down.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you like? So we're going with the Seahawks over the Cardinals.
Seahawks over the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a strong pick. I think that one works as well. All right, let's move on. We've got the Bears Packers, the Chicago Grizzly Bears taking on a bunch of dudes who are just blue collar workers in northern Wisconsin.
Which means they work hard, they smoke hard, they do shots hard. That's been my observation in Green Bay.
And they run from bears. They got bears up there. These dudes, when they go out in the woods, getting drunk or shooting deer, they don't fight bears. They run. Bears. I have a friend who lives in Wisconsin, Kelly. And I know you know a lot about Wisconsin too, because your family was there. But my friend, I'm talking to him on the phone, and he had been. At some point in the conversation, we've been talking for a little bit, and I'm like, wait, why don't you just go inside? Are you sitting in your driveway? Like, he was sitting in the driveway of his house talking to me, and I'm like, well, why don't you go inside? He told me I can't go inside because there's a bear in the yard, and he doesn't want to get out of his car until the bear leaves. And all I could think of was, why do you live there?
Yeah.
Why do you live in a place where if you just go out in the yard in the middle of the night, you could be mauled to death by a bear? I also don't get it with the people in Florida with their alligators in their backyard. I don't get it.
No, I don't get it either. I just saw a video of a dude pushing a stray alligator, maybe he was where he was supposed to be living, into a recycling bin. Like, the other person had a broom and was pushing him into one of the big recycle cans. And so that they could flip it up and put the top down. And I'm like, why do you think that would work? I don't know.
I'm not living anywhere where there is a chance where it's not outrageous to think you could be devoured by an animal. I'm not living there. I'm not paying a mortgage to have that risk in my life. I don't need it. I'd rather live on the south side of Chicago and be at risk of catching a stray from a gang member than live in the woods of Wisconsin and possibly be hunted down by a bear in my driveway.
That's true. So, what by the bear? Now the bears are scarier than I thought that they were.
Yeah.
We'll go.
All right. So you
Did
go
I
with
tell you about the time my brother, who his other job, he has two jobs, waits tables at Wildfire, and is it McCluskey's? Yeah, they came in and they used a couple of gift cards to pay for their meal, and I was like, "That's weird." So millionaires also use gift cards.
you mean McCaskey's?
McCaskey's, yeah,
Yeah, I was like McCaskey's.
Well,
Are you talking about the McCaskey's? Them cheap bastards.
they use gift cards, but who even gave that to them though? That's the other question.
Right. Who would think to give a billionaire a gift card? like here you
Well,
go.
they used it, went to work, so good for them.
$20 at a nice downtown restaurant.
That's right.
All right, so you go with the Bears here?
Yes.
All right, Bears over the Union toilet paper worker. That's what a
Mhm.
Packer is. I'm sorry. They've
Mhm.
got tissues. Chiefs at Chargers. Chiefs at Chargers this weekend. Now, this is I don't know if anybody bets out there, but this has got a crazy betting line that I don't understand. The Chargers just fired their coach. And they seem like they're garbage. And the Chiefs are the Super Bowl defending champion. And I think the Chargers are favored. And I don't understand that at all. I don't know.
I thought that that the Chiefs weren't in the playoff contention anymore.
Well, here's what's going. No, I think the Chiefs are still leading their. Hold on, let me see what this is. What's going on in the AFC? I need to figure this out.
I don't know. I
just figured out why I think that maybe that is. I think that maybe the Chiefs have already clinched and the Chargers are playing on adrenaline, and so they think that the Chiefs might bench everybody, like Mahomes might not play because they're already in the play. I don't know. Let me see.
I only get my news of the Chiefs from Taylor Swift fans. Which is odd because I'm a Taylor Swift fan, but yet I don't know that I've listened to any of her music recently.
Well, here's what I don't understand. What's the problem with her? I don't get what the problem is. I don't get why people are like, she's ruining football. I'm like, no, I think your bad attitude is ruining football. I can't imagine that a pretty girl in a skybox dating a player is something that is breaking news.
Yeah, she goes to the games. How's that ruining it? I don't know.
Back in 2005, when my Chicago Bears were running their way through to a Super Bowl loss,
Yep.
Brian Urlacher, who was their like big star, he was dating Paris Hilton at like the time that Paris Hilton. So I remember there being like, shots of the skyboxes at Soldier Field and Paris Hilton's in there wearing an Urlacher jersey. Yeah. We all thought that was cool. Nobody hated. I mean, we already kind of hated Paris Hilton, but you know what I mean? It wasn't like a new reason to hate this person. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I also saw some Christian dude in a sermons box, whatever it is, behind the altar talking about how she is evil and she's going to cause the death to the world in some way. And I'm like, what?
That's so weird.
You didn't like the last album? What's the problem? She's selling out stadiums.
I know one Taylor Swift song. I know that "Shake It Off" song. And she seems like a lovely young woman. I don't have any real issue with her, and I don't understand the people that do. It's not like she's provocative. It's not like, oh, did you hear what Taylor Swift said on that podcast? I mean, that's not her. I don't get it.
She sells out not only the stadium that her boyfriend plays in, but outside a stadium outside the stadium. She sells out. So people are interested in hearing what she has to say.
And not only that, but the Kansas City Chiefs have made a lot of money. Do you know how many Travis Kelce jerseys have been sold because Taylor Swift now is wearing them on stage at concerts?
I imagine a lot because I saw a lot in Florida. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So who do you like here? Chiefs at Chargers. It makes sense why the Chargers are the favored because the Chiefs, as I look here, the Chiefs are 10-6. They've locked up their division. They're fine. They're going to rest everybody. So they're probably just going to play a bunch of free agents and scrubs and practice squatters.
I have to go with the lightning bolt anyway, so I have to go with the Chargers.
There you go. Lightning bolt going to directly hit this Chief, and he's going to suffer cardiac arrest. All right, there you have it. Chargers over the Chiefs. Let's see here. Broncos at Raiders. This is the next one. Let me see. Broncos, Raiders. Yeah, Broncos at Raiders. Crazy, wild, unfixable horses versus
Raiders.
Pirates. Yeah, Raiders. Marauders.
I'm going to have to go with the bucking horse because, well, I don't know if the Raiders actually have guns. I think of them as more knife people.
Well, I think they got a knife in their mouth. Like, isn't that their logo? So they at least have a knife in their mouth. We know that.
And I think that the horse is not going to let it get close enough to use the knife. So I'm going to have to go with the Broncos.
Even though it's in Raiderland, even though
Yeah,
it's a
I
horse
don't
on
think
the
the
boat.
Broncos care.
Okay, there you go.
Mm.
Yeah, and you know what? Raiders, I believe they rode into town. Like I've seen imagery of like that where they're on horseback. So they've probably worked some horses in their time.
Yeah.
All right, so Broncos Raiders. She's going with the Broncos. How about Eagles Giants in New York City? New York
Giants
City.
reach the Eagles. Giants don't care about the fact that America loves eagles. They're still willing to kill them. But the Eagles can fly high, but they're in Giants land. But isn't that just the world? So the Eagles could be home or away. They're still whatever. They're
How
fine.
does the weather forecast for this weekend affect that? Because although there is a blizzard that is hitting most of the eastern cities from Washington through Philadelphia to Boston, the weather is not going to hit New York City. New York City is not going to get a blizzard. What they're going to get is crazy amounts of rain because it's not going to be cold enough. So it's going to be a wet, rainy downpour game.
I think that affects the Eagle, not at all, but it could make the Giants slip and fall.
And then, giant on his back. And all right, so who do you like here?
So I'm going with the Eagles.
Going with the Eagles over the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Rams at 49ers are our next game. Rams at 49ers.
Mm-hmm. We've got the Rams, who are just they're goats that run into people.
Yeah, they're just bad attitude goats.
Yeah, bad attitude goats is a good way to put it. Based against the angry 49ers who have a bunch of weapons. They fight mountain lions. They're tough because I think of them as out there on their own, looking for gold, trying to get anything that they can to make money for their families so that they can live. I don't know. I think they can handle a goat. Why am I even overthinking that? Of course. Of course they can handle a ram. They can handle a lot of things.
Rams are like mountain goats. And a lot of the 49er dudes, they were up there and they were panning for gold and they had guns. I'm sure they dealt with things far worse than goats.
Yes, for sure. Obviously. So we'll have to go with the 49ers.
49ers over the mountain goats.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think the 49ers may have sewn up their division as well. A lot of these teams that seem like they should be favorites might be phoning it in on Sunday because they got the playoffs coming up the next week and they want to make sure everybody's healthy.
Home field advantage or something. Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, but for some of these teams, it's already locked up. Like I think the 49ers already have home field and all that locked up because they've been dominant all season. So they might take the last game of the season and just not risk anyone getting hurt because the next week is the playoffs and they got to be healthy. I don't know. That's what the thinking is. Cowboys at the Commanders. Cowboys at the Commanders on Sunday. Who do you like?
Well, this is tough because Dallas Cowboys, there are probably a decent amount of them that could have also been in the military as military commander. Because we saw a whole lot of people in the Dallas airport, which, I waved hello to you when I was there yesterday, that were in uniform. And I still think the Cowboys can do it. Still think like anyone's challenged me on that. The Cowboys, they've got guns.
Cowboys are packing. Cowboys have a gun that they are showing. A commander might be in charge of a fleet of warships. Right. That doesn't help you in a bar fight.
No. That's a very good analogy because that's what it is. It's a bar fight. Mm-hmm. So I would have to go with the Cowboys on that. The guns, it's kind of tough to beat. There's a reason why people like guns.
Cowboys over the Commander. And now Sunday Night Football. And this is it. No Monday Night Football. Sunday Night Football. The final game. The final regular season game of this season. The Bills taking on the Dolphins. Oh, this is going to be a fun game.
In Dolphin Land, which would be the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bills, while tough, also have guns. Don't shoot well in water. I am going to have to take the Dolphins because they're at home. They can swim. They can swim away. I'm not sure how effective a gun is in water. Maybe I'd test that out. I don't know. Did I ever tell you about the time where my Jeff left a gun out on the nightstand for the 10,000th time and we had kids as toddlers? So I picked it up and threw it in the pool in the backyard.
You threw it in the pool? Oh, I bet he handled that well.
What kind of an asshole leaves a gun out when you've got little kids walking around? And it's loaded. And he's like, well, if I put it in a safe, it'll take too long for me to get it out of the safe if someone were to break in. I'm like, yeah, it won't take too long for your kids to kill themselves with a gun that they can reach. So yeah, I threw it in the pool, made him jump in the water in freezing cold.
All right, this game is very important. The Miami Dolphins are the leaders in the AFC East at 11-5. The Buffalo Bills are right behind them at 10-6. The team that wins this game, well, I don't know what the tiebreaker will play out, but this could be a tie.
Buys the other team pizza.
Yeah, buys the other team pizza. There you go. Loser buys beer.
Yeah.
Bills at Dolphins.
Dolphins.
It's got to be Dolphins. I mean, how can it not be? You're just taking Buffalo Bill Cody, the Wild West theatrical performer. He's decked out. He's going to be wearing the full uniform because he doesn't show up half-assed.
No.
People want the full Buffalo Bill experience, so he's going to have the long duster, the leather duster. That's going to be hard to tread water in. He's in the ocean. He's trying to fire his gun. I think you got the right pick here.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
All right. Dolphins over the Bills on Sunday Night Football. Now we're going to continue this through the playoffs. There'll be shorter shows, but we'll try and pick it all the way through to the I almost said World Series. That's the kind of expertise you get on this show. We know about football, and we're all waiting for the World Series of football.
That's right. Sure. Why not?
I think I'm going to start calling it that. You know how we're not allowed to call it the Super Bowl and then make money? Like you have to call it the big game.
The big game.
Let's all just start calling it the World Series of football.
Yeah. Let's do it.
That's what we should do. All right, wait, bye-bye. That's the week. Thank you, folks. We are Pugs. She's Kelly. This has been Practical Pics. See you next week for the playoffs. Bye, all.